Yep.
Harry Trewin is 16 and wants to be an engine driver. He has applied for a job as a cleaner at the engine shed near his home. He's been interviewed by the district locomotive superintendent. Now he waits to see the doctor.
Trewin next. Trewin. Well, my boy, what is your name?
Trewin, sir.
You want to become a cleaner, do you?
Yes, sir.
Well, my lad, come this way. Now, just stand there, and I want you to read the letters from the top.
I, E, V, Z, L, T, V, O, A, P, Z.
Now, that will do. Now, just the other A.
T, N, E, D, E, Z, P.
That will do. Now, go into that cubicle there, take off your coat, waistcoat, and shirt, and then come back again. Well, my boy, have you ever had or suffered from fits?
No, sir.
You never had any trouble with your ears?
No, sir.
Now, let me have a look at your hands. Now, bend them up, right above your head. Now, bring your hands down. Now, just turn right round. Fold your arms across your chest. Take a long breath. Again. Now, that is all. You go back to the cubicle and dress up.
Come in.
You're Trewin?
Yes, sir.
Right. You start as a cleaner.
Yes, sir.
First thing for you is a copy of the rules and regulations. You can't do anything without the rules and regulations.
No, sir.
Sign for it. Now, I want you to read and sign for this. It's very important.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now I'll take you to the foreman. He'll tell you what to do.
Foreman!
This young fellow's name is Trewin. Starting work as a cleaner.
Starting as a cleaner, are you, lad?
Yes, sir.
Leaving him in, Mr. Shaw. I'll look after him. That's it. We'll go to the stores now, lad, and get you some overalls and cloth. By the way, lad, have you got your rule book?
Yes, sir.
There it is. That's it. You can't go very far without the rules. Arthur! Trewin, this is the chargeman cleaner. He'll tell you what to do. Arthur, I want you to get a set of men on 4237 for me.
Righto.
come on, boy. Have you got your own book? Yes, sir. You know what to do with it? Yes, sir. Learn it. That's right, learn it.
Harry has started on the first stage of his career. From now until his working life is finished, he will be concerned with locomotives. Locomotives of all kinds and sizes. Tank engines and tender engines, sturdy little shunters and giant expresses, heavy freighters and lighter passenger locomotives.
Better get on the chimney, young Harry.
Right.
Outside and inside, mind.
Oh, what do you think you're at?
Oh, sir, they told me to do it.
Who did?
One of the chaps, sir.
Well, you're not a chimney sweep. And as for you, any more that's laughing about, I'll give you something to grin about. Get on with your work.
Harry's job as a cleaner is an essential preliminary to his career as a driver. As he goes about his work in the locomotive depot, he's learning all the time. He becomes familiar with the parts of a locomotive, learns their names and how they work. He gets to know the controls in the cab and what their functions are. Harry gradually gains in confidence and experience. He finds the work hard but interesting. Although Harry doesn't think of it in that way, he's one of the backroom boys, whose job it is to keep the 8,000 locomotives of the LMS in good running order. Besides cleaners, the shed staff includes fitters, boilersmiths, steam raisers, labourers, boiler washers, firing instructors, and so on. Harry comes in contact with them all. If he's wise, he learns something from them all, too. There are 200 motive power depots of various sizes on the LMS system. Day and night, year in and year out, locomotives are moving into and out of the sheds. Constantly, the job of cleaning, inspection and repairing goes on, a vital part of the behind-the-scenes service, which makes railway travel the safest and most dependable form of transport in the world. At the locomotive depot, there are classes called mutual improvement classes, which Harry should attend. Here he will add theory to the practical knowledge he gains at his work. At first, it all seems very complicated, but soon the combination of practical experience and theoretical instruction produce their results. Harry is learning. More, he's becoming interested in what he is learning. He isn't content just to listen, he asks questions.
Good morning, Trent.
Good morning, sir.
You're 18 now, aren't you, Trent?
Yes, sir. 18 last month.
We shall want you to do some firing soon. Do you think you'll be all right?
I shouldn't wonder, sir. I hope so.
Well, you realize what we want you to know, Trent. General knowledge of the rules and regulations, especially those referring to hand and fixed signals. Describe the various parts of the engine, knowledge of the locomotive's equipment, and the proper method of firing.
Yes, sir.
Right. I'll see you on Monday at 10 and find out how much you know. Right, that's all, friend.
Good morning, sir.
Read this.
F, X, O, L, Y.
Good. Now this.
L, T, V, O, A, P, Z.
Now try this line.
E, T, L N E Z D H B. Right.
Oi, Harry, foreman wants you.
Harry, I want you to go fire on Engine 7264. George Blake's gone sick.
Right. Give us a bucket of tools and a shovel.
What for?
Dig in the garden, of course.
What engine number 4?
7264.
Thank you. Did you know we're firing our first engine?
Yeah, it's so nice and Scott, ain't it?
Having passed satisfactorily his eyesight test, Harry gets his first job of firing. On the footplate, the driver and fireman work as a team, whether their locomotive is a humble shunter or a mainline express. Harry's chief responsibility, while he's acting as a fireman, is to maintain a good head of steam with a minimum amount of coal. This means that he must give careful attention to the fire. He must, too, regulate the supply of water to the boiler. He sees that bright headlamps are exhibited on the locomotive. He assists the driver in keeping a good lookout, and where necessary, operates the water pickup apparatus and the handbrake. Here now is where Harry's training and experience start to show results. He has progressed to the first stage in his career as a driver. As a past cleaner, Harry will not be on regular firing work, but will be available to carry out a fireman's duties as and when required. Harry and his driver prepare the engine for the day's work.
Oh, feeling a bit nervous now?
Oh, well, just a little bit.
Never mind, I'll help you all I can.
And that is typical of the men of the motive power depots, ready at all times to give valuable help and advice to the learner. It is now that Harry's knowledge of the rules and regulations stand him in good stead. This code of rules governs service in the railway and the operation of trains. Harry must know his rule book thoroughly, for on it depends the safe operation of the line. Every so often he will be seen by a firing instructor to make sure that his knowledge of it is still fresh. Harry soon progresses from shunting engines to runs with local freight trains. During his early trips, he will be accompanied by a firing instructor. There is an art in firing a locomotive furnace correctly, and it's no easy task to put each shovelful of coal through the small fire hole door exactly where it is wanted. The coal must be spread evenly over the whole surface of the grate to obtain the maximum benefit from it. Throughout his career, this system of providing practical demonstration by expert instructors will be followed. Coupled with the facilities available for theoretical work, it provides a sound basic training which has been shown by experience to produce a steady, reliable and efficient type of man as you will find anywhere. Harry at this stage of his career leads a hybrid sort of existence. Sometimes out on the road as a fireman, sometimes in the shed cleaning engines or doing one of the 101 jobs that require to be done. The trips that Harry takes on freight trains take him further and further from his home station. Every driver must know the road over which he travels. Harry's firing trips enable him to learn the road against the time when he becomes a driver. He must know the location of signals so that he can pick them out easily by day or night, obtain knowledge of speed restrictions, where water troughs are located, must in fact know the line over which he travels as you know the street in which you live. Whether he's on the line or working in the depot, Harry is learning all the time.
Harry.
You're doing a regular firing job next week. Ask him in the office when you're to see the doctor.
Good, that's fine.
It is essential that the men of the footplate should have good eyesight, so that they can pick out the signals easily. That is why at each stage on his way up to be a driver, Harry undergoes eyesight tests. In addition to good eyesight, he must too have good colour vision.
Yellow. What colour's this?
Blue,
This one?
red.
It's goodbye now to cleaning for Harry. As a regular fireman, his shed work in the depot is over. But he still has much to learn, and all the time he attends classes and studies at home so that he can pass the examination which will enable him to reach the goal of his ambition and become a driver. His experience broadens. He fires on differing types of freight trains and becomes familiar with differing types of locomotives. His work takes him for longer runs, and he learns the road on new stretches of line. He has become a permanent member of one of that most responsible class, the men of the locomotive footplate.
You're a lucky blighter, Jim. You're going to start driving, aren't you? Yes, that's right. But you're not doing so badly, Harry. Remember, I was a good few years older than you.
Just as Harry Trewin is typical of the men who join the railway as cleaners, Jim Hawkins is typical of those in the next stage of a footplate man's career. Jim is a regular fireman. He is undergoing an examination to become a passed fireman, which means that he will be available for driving as and when required. He must be able to name the parts of a locomotive and describe their functions, know how to make and use trimmings, be able to spot where repairs are required, and to report them accurately. The examination is a searching one. The inspector, who is actually in charge of the locomotive, takes Jim with him on the footplate. Among the points on which he will have to satisfy his examiner are such things as the care and manipulation of the locomotive, attention to signals, judging distances, and attention to boiler and fire. The test will take place on both passenger and freight trains. To become a passed fireman, Jim has to satisfy his examiner that he is capable and efficient. As a fireman, Jim has always had his driver to rely on. When he drives, he will be the man in sole charge of the locomotive. This examination is the most difficult and crucial of his career.
Right.
Theory is not omitted. The rules and regulations, which have been Jim's constant companion since he started work as a cleaner, have now become of supreme importance. He must know them thoroughly, and particularly those that have reference to the operation of trains.
Read this line.
F.
Before he becomes a passed fireman, Jim must undergo one of the periodical tests for eyesight and colour vision.
L. T. D. H. O. F. Z. L. V.
What colour's this?
Green.
And this?
Red.
What colour's this?
Yellow.
This one?
White.
Passed fireman Jim Hawkins is officially handed his own copies of instructions connected with his work as a driver. He must too sign the route card to show which routes he knows. The system of training men for the footplate has been carefully devised to ensure that nothing is lacking, either in practical working experience or in theoretical training. Different classes of locomotives are designed to haul particular types of trains. So, as time goes on, Jim handles an increasing variety of locomotives and trains. He becomes a regular driver. At stated intervals, all drivers have to pass tests in the rules and regulations. Their knowledge of them is never allowed to get stale. In his off-duty periods, Jim studies, so that his knowledge will keep fresh. Jim is switched from driving freight trains to passenger train working as circumstances require. He has developed into a good, steady and responsible type of driver. The slower schedules of freight working are mixed with the faster, more exacting schedules of passenger train running. Jim Hawkins is now firmly established in his career as a driver. All regular drivers on the LMS railway are arranged in what are called links. A link is a set of usually not more than 8 men earmarked for operating a regular service between various points. All drivers work through these links in order of seniority, and at the head of them all are the drivers who work the top link. Ernest Potter, engine driver, is a top link man. There is a surety and precision about all Potter does. Methodically, he examines and oils his locomotive. Vacuum tested, headlamp fixed, and Potter moves his engine off the shed to join his waiting train. There is time before the train leaves for a last look round the engine. The journey starts. Potter handles his locomotive with a sure confidence born of long experience. The training given to the Harry Truins and Jim Hawkinses is designed to produce the Ernest Potters of the railway. In fact, he himself has been through exactly the same procedure. The train gathers speed. Potter has behind him a 450-ton train carrying possibly some 800 passengers. In front of him is 200 miles of track, uphill, downhill, round curves and through stations, junctions and tunnels, past countless signals. Potter will unerringly take his trainload of passengers. There is still romance about a steam locomotive. Boys perched precariously on railings take her number, and in the countryside of half a dozen counties, workers in the fields pause a while from their labors to watch her pass. Throwing white steam over her shoulder, she speeds her way northwards, and at the controls, Ernest Potter, driver, 45 years service, a top link man. Somewhere, every minute of the day and night, now, at this moment, LMS trains are starting on their journeys. In the motive power depots, the past cleaners, firemen, past firemen and fully fledged drivers are reporting for duty. Behind the men of the Footplate stands an unequalled tradition of service, a tradition of which they are justly proud.